Nunes drops a bombshell on Mueller and points out the one flaw in his recent indictments. By Amy Moreno for truthfeednews.com. As Americans grow weary of the Russia witch hunt and it drags on, wasting time and money, Special Counsel Robert Mueller continues on wasting taxpayer time and money. His recent 12 indictments of Russian nationals for hacking made news. And as you can imagine, the fake news media is having a field day, desperately trying to paint this as devastating news for Trump and the Republicans. But they're leaving out a very important fact that Devin Nunes is more than happy to point out. The Russians were also trying to hack the GOP. From the Washington Examiner, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes said Special Counsel Robert Mueller's recent indictment of 12 Russian officials on charges of hacking Democrats' computers during the 2016 campaign looks ridiculous because it left out Republicans who were also targeted. They don't point that out. During an interview Sunday on Fox News, Nunes accused the media of largely ignoring the findings of his committee's month-old report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, which he asserted was much more comprehensive than Mueller's indictment. However, he also claimed the redactions in his panel's report prevented the presentation of the full picture and urged President Trump to declassify it. This entire report that you have in front of you, all you have to do was get to page 4, and you only had to read chapter 2, and you would have had nearly everything that's in the indictment. Nunes said, referring to a copy of the report held by host Maria Bartiromo, "There's more in this report than what's in the indictment, and this is what's very frustrating." A grand jury returned Mueller's indictment Friday, after which it was announced by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. The charges said 12 Russian officials engaged in a sustained effort to break into computers owned by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the DNC, and Hillary Clinton's campaign in the lead up to the 2016 election. It's great that they indicted Russians. Yes, they did bad things. They're always up to bad things. We know that. They have very sophisticated intelligence capabilities in Russia, and they're constantly attacking the United States and our allies, Nunes said Sunday. However, in the indictment, they leave out some really important people that they also went after. So the indictment plays like they are only going after the Democrats when Bob Mueller and all his investigators and his lawyers know for a fact that they also targeted Republicans. Why is that not in the indictment? It makes the indictment look ridiculous. President Trump, who has long called Mueller's investigation a witch hunt, is set to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Finland on Monday. He told CBS he might ask Putin to send indicted Russians to the U.S. for trial, but admitted that he hadn't thought about that. But because the Russians mentioned in the indictment are intelligence officers, Nunes said he doubted they will be held accountable, but did support calling out Russia for conducting cyber attacks against the U.S. All you need to know about Friday indictment and the Trump/Putin meeting, thanks Maria Bartiromo, only 10-minute clip, then you can watch World Cup final. Nunes has long been critical of the redactions in his panel's report, which were made at the request of the U.S. intelligence community. He made note of this Sunday, referring to the page after page of redactions as Bartiromo displayed a paper copy. He stressed that Trump has got to declassify the report, claiming If the president would have declassified this, the Mueller indictment would look ridiculous. The Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee released their final report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election in late April, concluding that there was no collusion, coordination, or conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. Instead, they found that Moscow's goal was to sow discord among Americans and not to help President Trump win the election. Chapter 2, which Nunes referenced, focuses on Russia's cyber attacks, Russian state actors, and third-party intermediaries who disseminated stolen documents, and how the Russian government used RT and social media to disrupt the U.S. election process. Democrats have accused the GOP majority of conducting an incomplete and misleading investigation. The report's release came just over a month after the panel voted along party lines to make it public following the declassification review. Nunes said Sunday that all the Mueller team did was validate our report, indict some Russians, and leave out some very pertinent relative evidence that the American people, public actually, or people should see. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he left out that the Russians also tried. Anyway, what do you mean the Russians tried to sow discord? The Democratic Party and the mainstream media has done enough to sow discord. Absolutely. Enough is enough. Stop blaming the Russians and look at yourselves. Look at the corruption in our government. Really? The Russians are laughing their butts off with this Mueller investigation. It's a total joke. It's making America look ridiculous. But you know what? Lo and behold, Hillary had to be president, right? So all this bull crap, I should say, all because the wicked witch didn't win the election. Come on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.